Hello YouTube and Infinite Magic Ray players. So this will be the last video for today, but we did want to go ahead and put out the information regarding the patch notes that they've given us. So we'll start with quality of life adjustments. We'll have the farming going on in the background here, but what we've got, so they've added a fourth legendary hero to the Elemental City. His name is Mamello. He is an HP burn type hero, similar to Neraid's HP burn in the sense of it's like a detonation type damage. But what's unique about this hero is that the uh, the damage actually scales with the enemy's max HP as opposed to your own. So this can be very good for big boss fights where they're gonna have just tremendous amounts of HP. A few other adjustments they did was that they added Nilua, Agatha, and Singer to the Fair Arena. We're looking forward to seeing what the E5 Agatha does in the Fair Arena. Nobody's got this hero, so now we'll be able to get play with her and see exactly what she does now. And hopefully she's tuned right because this can be a super broken hero if it's not. But we are excited to see them added, especially the Nilua, honestly. Um, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the Singer, and honestly, all of these heroes are going to be really good. Another thing that they've done is lowered the difficulty of the daily quests. So they've removed two of the quests, or they removed to the quests, which would be the enhancing your equipment one time and using the XP potion to upgrade hero one time. And to balance this, they've increased the points that you would gain from obtaining one hero from Wish and completing 3 dispatch quests. So now it is quicker to do your dailies, and we love that. It's a great quality of life adjustment. The next thing that they've done is lowered difficulty of campaign quests such as the stage clearing requirements of Space Temple in chapters 4 through 36. They've also lowered the times required for claiming campaign auto drop rewards in chapters 1 through 32. They've lowered the times required for purchasing products in the market in chapters 1 through 36, and they've adjusted the unlocking requirement for some campaign stages. All these are going to be really good quality of life changes. It looks like it's going to help a lot of newer players be able to complete the things that they need to in a more timely fashion. They've lowered the level requirements for quick dispatch feature from 6 to 2. Wow, I wish that was around whenever I started this game, because I remember going through and manually dispatching every single quest until we got to that level 6, and that was such a huge turnaround for us. But now that it's at level 2, a lot of our newer players will be able to enjoy this feature, early on. Uh, Looks like adventurers can click on heroes' avatars to jump to the hero display interface. That's very nice. And lastly, they optimized the notifications of system messages, whatever this may mean. As far as what's coming up in events, on November 10th through November 13th, we are going to have a Miracle Wish raid up. What we've got is Legend Hero Ronai. This will be the new one. She's in the Forester faction. We've also got Quinlan, Seth, Popper, and Bull, all very useful heroes. So this looks like a pretty good banner. In the Epic department, we've got Gertrude, Jarvis, Sedora, and Schist, with Gertrude being the new one. So, as typical, they'll be available via the Miracle Wishes during the raid up, and then in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to get them through the regular pool. So what we want to do is actually focus a bit more on the skills and hero descriptions of these new heroes and see, are they useful? What can they do? How will they benefit us? And we're going to start with Gertrude, the new epic. And the reason why is just because I don't think that this is going to be a super useful hero. So if we're looking at the skills, right? The S1 is Warhammer Smash. It just deals death damage to a single enemy and reduces their turn meter. It can be somewhat useful, but I don't think that this is going to be like game breaking or anything along those lines. Even for lower players trying to get early stages of faction, it might help. But aside from that, I don't see very much benefit. S2 deals 2 stages of death damage each to a single enemy and makes a target lose HP equal to part of the total value of Gertrude's shield. The S3, which would be the passive, Gertrude cannot land a crit. When the battle starts, increases the shield effect based on her crit rate. So depending on what these percentages are going to be, I mean, maybe it might be somewhat helpful, but I won't believe that this is going to help players clear floor 30 of Sword Harbor by any means, and I don't know where she's going to fit in. Personally, I am unimpressed with this hero, but that's okay. It tends to happen with epics. They don't release groundbreaking epics very often. The idea is to make the legendaries and this new elemental city hero groundbreaking. So next we're going to get right on into Ronai. Ronai is a blue forester, and she is the legend hero of the banner. So if we quickly look at the skills, right? S1 deals attack damage to a single enemy and restores HP based on Ronai's max HP for all allies. So basically, she heals every time she does a basic attack. The S2 grants 1 layer of heal for all allies for 2 turns, and then increases turn meter for all allies. We don't know exactly how much turn meter, we just know that it increases turn meter. This can be very useful. It's very similar to Space's S4. And then her S3. When a battle starts, Ronai keeps the balance between her initial effect hit and effect res, increasing the lower one to the same as the higher one. So I guess you can build into effect hit or effect res. It doesn't matter. They'll both be the same. That's pretty interesting. And it looks like it has a cap, so we don't know what that cap's going to be. It could be 100%, it could be 80%, it could be 200%. There's no telling. We'll find out when this hero comes. When Ronai survives, reduces the direct damage taken by allies with heal. If the ally does not have consolidation or effects considered as consolidation, reduces more direct damage taken by the ally instead. Only the skill with the strongest effect will take effect when there are multiple skills that can increase this attribute. So this is a very interesting passive. I see a lot of potential for PvP and PvE here. One, Forester, I don't think Forester is lacking support, but the supports that you use are very specific. Like you use Taru, Gru, and was it Farnell. Like those are the main supports you're going to use. So this is a very good one to add, especially with the turn meter manipulation, the direct damage reduction. We're pretty satisfied with the skill description so far. S4 summons Dreamy Butterflies to attack all enemies, dealing 3 stages of attack poison damage each. When the attack ends, there's a chance to inflict Feebleness 2 for 2 turns and Hypnotize for 1 turn. So the Feebleness is a pretty good attribute debuff. It will help a lot in Faction Abyss. I can see it being useful in PvP as well. But Oppo, he's a PvE player, so his mind goes straight to the Faction Abyss, into the Wuthering Coast, into the the dungeons and all these different aspects to see where this may be useful. It's also a blue mark hero, so we could probably see her. Newer players, as they pull her, she can be useful for that faction, similar to how Guhana is useful for that faction. But the difference being is that she does not provide the speed up. She does reduce the damage taken, so I guess there's a trade-off there. I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably choose Ronai over Guhana if I was clearing Blue Tower for the first time. The direct damage reduction, just like passively existing there, that's huge. It's kind of similar to Singer, where he just exists and reduces healing effect and shielded effect. So, very strong ability. You don't have to cast a skill for it to take effect. That's very good. So when we get into the exclusives, exclusive 1 makes her S4 reduce all enemies' turn meters. We don't know by how much, but that is huge. So she's turn meter boosting and turn meter reducing. We do not have a hero that can do that on like an AoE scale. Like Space can turn meter increase AoE wise, but she can't turn meter decrease AoE wise. So this would be the first hero that we have, I believe, that can do both on an AoE scale. And that's only at E1. For E2, every 1 layer of heal granted by Ronai on any ally grants this ally turn meter immediately, and self 1 layer of Butterfly Dance for 2 turns. Each Butterfly Dance increases self speed, so it looks like she does actually provide the speed up. So really, this looks like an improved version of space to some degree. Exclusive 3, at the beginning of each wave, Ronai grants 1 layer of heal on all allies for 2 turns. Additionally, when Ronai survives, for every 1 stage of direct damage taken by any ally, if the ally's percentage is lower than 100%, restores this ally based on her max HP. If the ally has heal, restores more HP. So, thinking about all these skills, I definitely see this as being a new and improved space, depending on what kind of percentages we get. She doesn't provide herself the passive turn meter boost like space does, so you might find her more useful in like the Faction Abyss and the Blue Tower. But I still see applications for like 5v5, more turn meter boosters for all these different teams, and since we're kind of stuck in this go first and cleave meta, she will fit right into that. Maybe not in a main team, but in a fourth or fifth team. So we are pretty satisfied with the way that Ronai reads right now. Does look like a pretty good hero, and we cannot wait until the 10th, whenever they put all these heroes out. We can start to see her actually in battle and testing. The one that I'm most excited about is the new Elemental City hero, and their name is Mamello. They're a pretty bad to the bone looking character. I'm looking at the 3 heads right now. Pretty gnarly. But what's unique about this hero that we have not seen before, right? So they're an HP burning EC hero, and of course, as such, with the nature of EC heroes, they should be pretty strong. But their passive is what intrigues me the most. When dealing damage to a target with higher max HP than self, the extra damage dealt by Flaming Strike, which would be the S1, Gleamy Throw, which would be the S2, and Sunlight Combo, which would be the S4, will be calculated based off of the target's max HP instead. That is a unique ability that we've not experienced before. So traditionally, HP burning is damage that's scaled and capped based off of your own max HP. So to scale it off of like the enemy's max HP, this is really good for say like dungeon fights. Wuthering Coast comes to mind because that boss, the more times you kill it, the quicker they scale up in HP, death, etc., etc. So this allows for scaling of the damage to kind of like go linearly with the bosses every time it refreshes. So that's huge. But anyhow, let's read into these skills and see what we think. So Flaming Strike, this would be the basic attack. Deducts 7% of max HP from self. First note off of that is the Aosdine stamp, the one where they get their damage increase. Actually, let's see if we can jump into it here. Don't need no Slay pack. Aosdine. When the owner enters the battle, increases their max HP by 12% and HP burning damage dealt by 12%. If the owner loses HP because of self-skill effect, increases the effects mentioned above by 50%. Okay, and then I guess at max level it's 16%. So this hero should be able to scale with that, and of course that's assuming that they don't put out like another stamp specifically for Mamello here. Anyhow, we'll get back into reading the rest of it. This extra damage is so the 7% from self afterwards deals damage and extra damage based off of Mamello's max HP to a single enemy. So there's 2 stages of damage here. The extra damage is considered as HP burning damage with a chance to inflict Sun's punishment on the target. This chance is not affected by effect hit or effect res. Each side can only have 1 target with Sun's punishment at the same time. When the enemy with Sun punishment takes damage from HP burning, Mamello will grant allies with no more than 3 layers of shield, a shield equal to 20% of Mamello's max HP for 2 turns. So you will still build Mamello into HP as you would a traditional HP burner. But they're going to be able to scale as far as like a support. So what this might mean actually is that say for the triple DOT team, like say you run Luke A, Nita, Red, Mamello, and maybe a traditional HP burner like on Jihin or something. you'll still be able to get the support capabilities from Mamello. So that's very interesting. We like to see that. I mean, there's a lot of theory crafting that could happen, but we're gonna need to see uh, percentages and things like that. Um, and of course, do some battle testing. I'm actually considering I'm considering getting this hero myself because next rotation I will have enough shards. So, Gleamy Throw, this is the S2. It increases self-max HP cap for 2 turns. Afterwards, deals 2 stages of damage to all enemies, each of which deducts 7% of max HP from self and deals damage and extra damage based off of Mamello's max HP. This extra damage is considered as HP burning damage. The first stage has a chance to inflict deep HP burning 2 on the target for 2 turns, and the second stage additionally triggers the HP burning effect for once. So deep HP burning, that's really interesting. So we're gonna get a buff of HP burning essentially from this S2, and we like that. Um, that's very big. That's very big. I don't think we have deep HP burn on any heroes, so to see that for the first time in this new EC hero, typical but nice. Now we're gonna jump into Dazzling Sunlight, which would be the passive. This is where we were talking about when deals damage to a target with higher max HP than self, the extra damage dealt by these skills will be calculated based off of the target's max HP instead. So that second stage of damage is where it's gonna figure into the target's max HP. Additionally, at the beginning of each wave, Mamello gains Rising Sun. At the beginning of Mamello's turn, if self HP percentage is less than 60%, Rising Sun will be converted to Setting Sun. If not, Rising Sun will be converted to Blazing Sun. At the end of Mamello's turn, Blazing Sun / Setting Sun will be reverted to Rising Sun. So let's see, where is... here we go. So Rising Sun increases the ally's shielded effect. So that's what he starts with. And then he can move into either Setting Sun or Blazing Sun. The Blazing Sun increases HP deducted in Flaming Strike, Gleamy Throw, and Sunlight combo, and increases their extra damage dealt. Setting Sun would mean that they do not consume HP anymore. Their effects are changed to restore the same amount of HP, and effects are not affected by the healing effect. So I guess if his HP is low, he turns into like a self-regenerator, and if his HP is still high, he's doing a lot more damage. So that's a very interesting mechanic, and I'm wondering, I would imagine that you want to do more damage, so uh, you might end up building your team with like some healers just to keep this guy pretty high HP all the time, so that he's doing the most damage. Sunlight combo is the S4, and what it does is it deals 4 stages of damage to a single enemy, each of which deducts 7% of max HP from self, so a whopping 28% after all 4 stages are dealt. That's pretty wild. Deals damage and extra damage based off of Mamello's max HP. The extra damage is considered as HP burning damage. If the target dies during Sunlight combo, Mamello will attack a different target instead. Okay, so pretty standard ability here. Now, as far as the exclusives go, Gleamy Throw, which is the exclusive one, Gleamy Throw will increase all allies' max HP cap by 50% for 2 turns. So that would be the S2. So what he does is instead of just increasing the max HP cap for self, he does it for all allies. So what this could mean is that Mamello might actually make for a traditional HP burn team, because if everybody's max HP cap is going up, that would scale with HP burn. Exclusive 2, it increases the HP burning damage taken by enemies with Sun's Punishment. If the target is a boss, additionally increases their damage taken. Additionally, when the enemy with Sun's Punishment takes damage from HP burning, Mamello will grant allies with no more than 4 layers of shield a shield equal to 20% of Mamello's max HP for 2 turns. So this essentially kind of confirms my thought of Mamello being like not quite a boss slayer, but a boss fighter. So I definitely think we're gonna see this hero introduced into the Wuthering Coast rotations. I don't know if it's gonna be a traditional HP burn team or a mixed DOT team. Traditionally, HP burn's been kind of like a trash modifier. Not very good, but maybe this changes the whole game. Maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, we'll see him in the mixed DOT team more than likely. If it does, we might see traditional HP burn teams come out. Exclusive 3 says that if 3 or more enemies survive each stage of Sunlight combo, deals extra damage equal to 15% of the main target's damage taken to other enemies. If less than 3 enemies survive, increases damage dealt by Sunlight combo to the main target by 30%. So again, another boss slayer kind of exclusive here. So it could be wave control. So for newer players that are looking at their first elemental city hero, this hero could probably be useful in dungeon farming because it's going to help you with wave management. And then when it converts to the boss fight, and you're looking at 3 or less enemies on the board, it's increasing your damage. So this does seem like the thought behind the exclusive was made for dungeons. So that could be their idea, right? And we do know that Marius does not take the HP burn reduction effect of typical dungeons, so maybe we see him a bit more in like Marius teams. Maybe he'll allow us to farm Marius a little bit higher. We don't know yet. We'll have to do some testing, and I think that this is a hero that I'm going to go for. So exclusive 4 plus 50 speed, obviously. Each time Rising Sun is converted to Blazing Sun or Setting Sun, deals extra damage based on Mamello's max HP to all enemies and restores all allies' HP according to their max HP. This extra damage is considered as HP burning damage and can be affected by Dazzling Sunlight. So if we look at Dazzling Sunlight, where is this at? Okay, that's the S3 and can be affected by. Okay, so this is kind of a tricky one. Can be affected by Dazzling Sunlight. Oh, I guess that means that the damage is calculated based off the boss H or the enemy's HP if they're higher. Yeah, that makes sense. So the exclusive 4 means that each time that this Rising Sun's converted, it does deal the extra damage and it restores all allies' HP, and that extra damage can be affected by the passive, which means that if it is against an enemy with higher HP than self, that it will figure the damage calc based off their HP. So interesting, doesn't seem groundbreaking, but it's still more damage. Exclusive 5 would be Sunlight combo has 2 more stages, so all in all 6 stages. If the target dies during Sunlight combo, increases damage dealt by the remaining stages to the main target each, and deals extra damage equal to 15% of the main target's damage taken to other enemies. So this doesn't seem necessarily groundbreaking as like a boss buster, tank buster, boss slayer kind of exclusive. You will want the extra 50 speed, but this looks more so like it's geared towards wave clearing. So again, dungeon farming really does come to mind here. I'm wondering what this does toward dungeon farming. Very excited. Honestly, I'm stoked about this hero. I am not so stoked about the time gate that we have behind EC heroes. Right now, currently, to get all of them to E5, it would take you about 20 months of gameplay, completing fully each stage. If you were able to complete every single stage, every single rotation, it'll take you 20 months. I think that's too long. I think we need to reduce it. But we'll see how that goes. There's just so much EC heroes, and for newer players, it's going to be impossible to get all of them and to use these exclusives just because of how serious the time gate is behind these. But that is it for the video. We're really excited about what's to come. Like I said, I really want this hero. I want this EC hero. I'm considering regressing my Donald and using the exclusive fragments and just going all in into Mamello here. At least we'll be able to do some testing, if nothing else. If he does prove to be not non-eventful, then we may be able to regress him back to Valentina or something else. I do not like Donald anymore. But Anyhow, that's a whole nother conversation. Thank you for stopping by. I hope that you were able to make use of these patch notes. I hope that you are able to take my thoughts of what these heroes are and make an informed decision on, what your next moves are going to be. I know personally, I probably will not pull for the Miracle Wishes. I am trying to save them or save all, well, I am going to save all of my shards for limited heroes, but Mamello seems really interesting, and this is going to be somebody that I will definitely go for, and as soon as I have them, I'll put out some sort of a showcase and try to crack the codes and see if we can utilize them to their maximum extent. Anyhow, thank you for stopping by. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, bye.